How's it going, YouTube? Navy Sooner here. Today on my reviews of stuff, I'm going to be reviewing the Ontario Knife Company Rat Number 1. I really like this knife in a lot of different ways. There's a couple of downsides to it that I don't like, and other people can probably get past it or whatnot. But I still think this is one of the best knives out there for someone that's in the budget area trying to find a knife to carry on them. So let me get started with my review on the Ontario Rat Number 1. This Ontario Rat Number 1 comes in AUS-8 steel. You can also get it in D2 tool steel. It's a little bit more expensive, but they do make it in D2 tool steel. This one's got OD green nylon scales. There are also other colors available. Also, the blade is in kind of looks like a stonewash finish, I guess. You can get it in, I believe, satin. I might be wrong, but you can also get it in a black coated finish. Also, with this knife, the blades, you can get serrations. They go to about here, but I don't like serrations on knives very much. The blade length is 3.625. I'm sorry, 3.625 inches. Which in a lot of places that is going to be hard to carry on your body. But if you don't live in places that really care about length, like Texas, before they changed the law, it used to be 5 inches that you could carry on you. Now, like I've said before, you can carry samurai swords on you. The pocket clip is 4-way repositionable. Left, right, tip up, tip down. I have this set up for left tip down carry. And the length of it overall is 10 inches open. So let me get into the pros about this knife. Like I said, it's an all-around everything knife. I keep this in my fire kit, which if I have it, which my fire kit stays in my truck or it'll go into my backpack. So I'll always have this knife available somehow for me to get to. It could be like a just backpacking knife, survival knife, folding survival knife. You can use it for almost anything. I like this thumb ramp here. It's got some jimping on it that's not too rough but not too smooth. Kind of really just your thumb can get in there pretty good. I really like the ergonomics of this. My hands are fairly smaller hands, but it just fits right there perfectly. And if you need to, you can choke up on it. But the way it just fits in my hand ergonomically, it's great. It's the greatest value of any budget knife, I believe. I mean, you can get them for somewhere in the high 20 range, mostly around $30. So for everything you get out of this knife, I'm sorry about the lighting. I'm still trying to figure all that out. But you can get this knife is fairly cheap and it's great for everything. It's a fairly smooth knife opening and closing. I don't need to flick my wrist to open it up. It'll just slide right open with a flick of the thumb, which, like I said before, I don't like thumb studs, but with that it really helps. But it's really smooth. It's got some bronze washers. Let's see if we can see them there. I don't know if you can see them, but for such a cheap knife, bronze washers, and it just can't beat it. Some of the cons on there, I said just a second ago, was the thumb studs. I don't like thumb studs. It just bothers me. I don't know. It's a preference thing, I guess. I like either having a flipper or a thumb hole. But to each their own. But one thing that is good about these thumb studs is it's out of the way of the cutting surface of the cutting part of the blade. A lot of companies, including Benchmade, have thumb studs way up here in the path of the cutting blade. In the path of the cutting surface, I'm sorry. So you can't really use that part of it if you're trying to slice, so they wouldn't be very good slicers. This one is going to be an excellent slicer though. It's a little thick behind, it's a little thick of a knife, but for being kind of a survivalist style knife, that's not that bad. Another con is the scales. They're very slippery. There's some texturing to them, but it's very slippery. They could have easily textured this a little bit better. They offer this in G10 scales, which I hope that the G10 scales are a little bit more textured. You can also get scales in carbon fiber, which is kind of cool. I've never handled one, so I don't know if it's actual carbon, like all the way through carbon fiber, because a lot of places will put like a little inlay of carbon fiber on top, and then the rest of the scale will be G10 or the nylon and whatnot. What else about this knife? There is the slightest of slight recurves right in there. It's not bad at all for sharpening. I've sharpened this knife plenty of times, but I'm not a fan of recurves in knives. Some people might be, but those people probably don't ever sharpen their knives on their own. So I'm just not a big fan of that. But other than that, this knife, it's got so much going for it, especially for the price. I got this one at Academy Sports and Outdoors for $34. You can also get them. You can find them for much cheaper, not much cheaper, but around $27 to $28 online. Also, if you want to get the D2 scale, or the D2 one, I believe I saw one for $42 on Amazon. There is also a little brother, which I need to get to this. It's called the Rat 2. The blade is only 3 inches long, so that makes it a very good blade to be able to carry in some of the restricted blade length areas. And it's only 7 inches overall. And like I've told y'all before, I'm a big fan of carrying two knives on me, a larger folding knife and a smaller folding knife. So that would be the perfect just wham bam combination of knives. You could get into that for less than, you can get into those two knives and have a large and a small knife for almost under $60. So you can't really beat that for the price. And Oz-8 steel is really good. So speaking of Oz-8 steel and budget knife that I like, it's an option better than this guy, the Benchmade Griptilian. The scales feel so much better than this plastic. It's almost just as smooth. You don't have to worry about that axis lock, trying to unlock it. 154 cm steel, yeah, it's a little bit better steel, but still, Oz-8 ain't too shabby. So for $120 or $34, I mean, really. And on this, if you don't get the little hole, the thumb hole, and you get the thumb stud on this, it's right here in the way of the blade path. So yeah, come on, Benchmade, figure it out. Let me see something else here. So the centering isn't perfect on that, but it's a lot better than the centering on this Griptilian. See, that Griptilian's almost touching the scale over here. This plastic, it just it feels like kid stuff. Anyways, enough ranting on Benchmade and everybody that keeps getting up Benchmade's butt, but why are you going to pay so much money for that? You're basically paying for that right there. That's all you're paying for when you're buying Benchmade's expensive like that. This knife they could have easily done for $50-$60, but because they have that right there, that makes a whole lot more. Anyways, I'm sorry. Back to the rat one. This is just an all-around great knife, and for the price. And if you're budget-minded, go get you one of these knives. That was my review on the Ontario Knives Rat number 1. Navy Sooner out.